Imagine celebrating your first birthday, only after 248 years. Sounds impossible, right? But there is one world in our solar system where that's exactly what would happen. It's so far away that sunlight takes more than 5 hours to reach it. The temperature is colder than almost anywhere else we've ever explored. Mountains of ice rise like giant frozen skyscrapers. Rivers made of nitrogen slowly crawl across its surface, and hidden beneath all that ice, scientists believe there may be an entire ocean. This world is Pluto. Once called the ninth planet, today it's known as a dwarf planet. But here's the strange part. Many scientists believe Pluto should never have lost its title in the first place. So what really happened? Why was Pluto demoted? And could this tiny frozen world actually be hiding life? Let's travel billions of kilometers from Earth and uncover the complete story of Pluto. It's the year 1930. There was a 23-year-old American astronomer named Clyde Tombaugh working at the Lowell Observatory in Arizona. His job was to photograph the night sky and look for something new. Back then, 2 photos of the sky taken on different days were compared alternately in a machine. If something shifted position, it meant that object was moving, like a planet or asteroid, since stars are too far away to appear to move. On February 18th, 1930, Clyde spotted a small point of light shifting position far beyond Neptune. After verification by his seniors, the discovery was announced to the world on March 13th, 1930. The name Pluto was suggested by an 11-year-old English girl, Venetia Burney, after the Roman god of the underworld. Fitting, since the planet was so dark and distant that sunlight barely reached it. Pluto remained the 9th planet for 76 years. Why Pluto lost planet status, plus IAU decision. In 2006, the International Astronomical Union, IAU, held a meeting in Prague where thousands of scientists gathered and decided that Pluto would no longer be classified as a planet. To understand why, you need to know the IAU's 3 conditions for planethood. 1, it must orbit the sun. 2, it must have enough mass for its gravity to make it round. And 3, it must have cleared its orbit of other large objects. Pluto passes the first 2 conditions but fails the third. It orbits within the Kuiper belt, where thousands of similar objects also exist, meaning it hasn't cleared its neighborhood. That's why it was reclassified as a dwarf planet. This decision remains controversial. Many scientists still disagree and want the classification rules changed. Now let's learn some more interesting facts about Pluto that make it a very unique and special place. The first fact is that Pluto is so small that if you compare it to Earth, it's even smaller than our moon. Yes, you heard that right. Our moon, which orbits our Earth, is bigger than Pluto. Pluto's diameter is only 2,374 kilometers, while our moon's diameter is 3,475 kilometers. That means if you lined up 6 Plutos in a row, together they still wouldn't be as big as Earth. It's so small that you could drive around it in a car in a single day, if there were roads there. The second very interesting fact is that Pluto has a heart. Yes, you heard that right. When NASA's New Horizons spacecraft flew past Pluto in 2015 and sent back high-resolution photos, the whole world was stunned because a huge heart-shaped region was visible on Pluto's surface. It's now officially called Tombaugh Regio, named after the scientist who discovered Pluto. This region is made of nitrogen ice and is so large that 2 entire states the size of Texas could fit inside it. The third fact is that Pluto's orbit is very strange. All the other planets orbit the sun in roughly a flat, aligned path. But Pluto's orbit is tilted and skewed. Its orbit is so tilted that sometimes it actually comes closer to the Sun than Neptune does. This means that for a few years, Pluto becomes the 8th closest object to the Sun, and Neptune becomes 9th. This last happened from 1969 to 1999, when Pluto was closer to the Sun than Neptune. The New Horizons mission launched in January 2006, when Pluto was still officially a planet, and took 9.5 years to reach it. By the time it arrived, Pluto had already been reclassified as a dwarf planet. The spacecraft launched at roughly 58,000 kilometers per hour, one of the fastest speeds ever achieved, and still took nearly a decade to get there. In July 2015, New Horizons made its closest approach, passing just 12,500 kilometers from Pluto's surface and capturing thousands of photos and data points. These images stunned the world, revealing the heart-shaped region, towering ice mountains, and flowing glaciers. Most surprisingly, Pluto turned out to be geologically active. The heart-shaped Sputnik Planitia region continuously shifts like an extremely slow-moving glacier, and there may even be cryovolcanoes erupting ice and water instead of lava. Since it was only a flyby, Pluto was too far and too small to justify the fuel needed for an orbital mission. New Horizons gathered as much data as possible in its brief pass, before continuing deeper into the Kuiper belt, where it continues sending back new discoveries. Pluto isn't just a small ball of ice. It's a reminder of how diverse our solar system truly is. It also teaches us that science is always evolving. What's considered true today could change tomorrow, and Pluto could even regain its planet status if definitions shift again. The story of its discovery is equally inspiring. A 23-year-old's months of painstaking work, followed by an 11-year-old girl naming it. Age, it turns out, is no barrier to curiosity and achievement in science. Could we ever visit Pluto? With current technology, it's incredibly difficult. Even the fastest spacecraft took 9.5 years to get there, and sending humans is practically impossible for now. But as science advances, perhaps in 50 or 100 years we'll have the technology to make that journey, and finally see that heart-shaped region with our own eyes. This is the complete story of Pluto, a small, distant world where a single day equals 6 of ours, where ice mountains rise and nitrogen glaciers flow, a world with its own heart facing its largest moon, and perhaps hidden beneath its icy surface, an ocean that could one day be found hosting life. Pluto reminds us that the universe still holds so much we don't know, and so much left to discover. And perhaps that's the most beautiful thing about science. However much we know, there's always more to learn.